pumpkin.
Who brought it? Did you? Wow. Wait. That's leftovers from Linda's? You cannot change the 2x2. Somebody tried to change it once and she let them know that there's no substitutes. Yeah, we have to have coffee. It's part of our...
Like this is like the six sauce, and if I like coffee, I'd probably say that too.
So we're gonna go to Des Moines, did I tell you that? Instead.
Glad to hear that.
It's really flat.
Is Kim doing it too?
Yeah, Kim makes it. Some people are like, you can go to Some people are like, you can go to Mankato, which is true, but Mankato is really hilly.
Mankato, Des Moines, Kansas City.
Huh?
Isn't Des Moines like on the river, right? Isn't it pretty hilly there?
More of the Council Bluffs area is hilly.
Oh, this is like us carrying it what Iowa.
But how many people actually run the Mankato Marathon, too? Like, right after the Twin Cities, I bet it's like 30 people. I mean, wasn't that much for an atmosphere.
Ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Are you ready? Hey, good afternoon. Welcome in, friendos.
And good night.
It
heckle?
is Thursday, October
heckling?
5th. It's pretty active atrium right now at the moment.
is.
There was a bunch of people in there.
Things are a
People
buzz.
eating pancakes.
Yeah.
Things are a buzz.
We have...
We got Mike Stella here
thanks for having me.
and got Greg Tizer.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well, enjoying the sunny weather. I'm missing the Monday and Tuesday weather, but I know Greg is not.
That's too hot, dude.
That was perfect.
That was like
It's perfect.
summer coming back.
Did you
with
get on the boat?
I did not.
You're not done with it, are you?
No, I'm taking my small group that I started this fall is a bunch of 19, 20-year-old guys, and so Jeff Ekstrand and I are taking them out on the water next week, a week from today, for a little fishing contest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Contest, I
We're
like
gonna
it.
boat versus boat.
So Jeff's boat, your boat?
Yep.
Okay.
We might need a third boat. Isaac Nielsen asked if he could bring his boat, but because I added another person to our small group this week, and if he goes, then we might need another boat. Need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Is Isaac also bringing dynamite? Isn't that how you're supposed to go fishing?
Before we get
Throw
started,
dynamite down there and-
I have some sad news I got to share today, and it is due to our fantasy football guillotine league that we were in.
yeah.
That we made a little wager bet. I don't know if you're okay with that or not, but it was Greg and Mike. Greg begrudgingly, Mike
I don't remember any of this.
and myself and Paul St.
I
Martin.
didn't even want to play in this league.
And you're probably not watching right now, Paul, but we will forward this video to you because we made a wager about the first person to get knocked out had to buy and wear a shirt, and
don't
lo and
remember this
behold,
at all.
I was the first person to get knocked out. I still have a better record than Minnesota Vikings.
That's true.
I won. I made it through 3 weeks, and I got knocked out the fourth
Yeah.
week. And the punishment was that I had to wear this shirt.
Oh yes.
Wow.
I don't know if they
Which
can
says-
get
That
the
thing
full-
fits you
gotta go
really
up
well.
front. I think you gotta go
Says,
close your
"I
laptop.
suck at fantasy football."
Yes.
And Paul was really excited that I would wear it on Sunday
I don't
morning.
know. Move your mic for a minute. Can we get all the glory that
I
is in
don't
this
think
shirt?
I could
The
wear.
unicorn with the sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, in a football.
Show the camera.
It's a great shirt.
It's a great shirt.
No, it's a great shirt. But I just don't think I could get away with wearing.
It's also true.
It probably is. Fantasy
It's
football.
really not.
That's
the
awesome.
funny part about it. He's
That's
the one that cares
awesome.
the most about this stuff.
I
Or
do.
is
I thought
more in tune to fantasy
I
sports
thought
than like.
so quickly that Greg would be the first one to get.
You mean the
chopped.
guy that didn't even show up to the draft?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And the guy that really didn't
Yeah.
even notice that one of my players was out
I
last
should have
week.
just let
Still
it
played
auto
him.
draft for me because I had the very last pick in a 18. Is it 18 or
Yeah.
17 team?
Right.
And sorry
That is
for all of you
awesome.
that don't care about fantasy football, but when you're
This segment's
drafting
for
last in an 18-person league, you're getting nothing.
You're going to wear the pink
Good.
shirt.
Right.
That's what you're going to
And
wear.
then you're wearing the pink shirt. I'm not making excuses.
No.
And then also,
Yeah.
the number one pick that the one of my top picks was connected to Aaron Rodgers, which I should have never done because I can't stand him, and I used to never draft any Packers, and he got hurt, and that sort of tanked the value of the pick that I made that was connected to him, one of his wide receivers.
I wouldn't
And then
spend
my
much
number
money
2
on him.
wide receiver got hurt week 1, and then last week I did actually bid on a player that he got hurt in the first quarter with broken ribs.
Who was that?
That's T. Higgins.
Oh.
The only time, yeah.
yeah.
And his
Anyway.
quarterback's hurt.
And his quarterback's hurt, and the rest of my
He was
team.
like the kind of darling going into the season. He was going high, wasn't he, in a lot of drafts? Or like everyone
T.
was in on
Higgins?
T. Higgins. Yeah.
I mean, no.
I saw people were drafting him left
I mean,
and right.
Garrett Wilson was sort of the darling going into the draft because he's now
He's had a good rookie year, and then he had Aaron Rodgers.
right,
coming.
and it's it wasn't Zach Wilson. Now it
I
is
went and
Zach
spent
Wilson,
money on him.
and it wasn't very
I
good.
picked him up.
That's awesome, though. By the
You
way, that
picked
shirt
Garrett
fits
Wilson
me.
up.
And
Did
what's
you really?
his name? Yeah,
Did you spend big?
yeah.
See, that was the thing.
And the
is
quarterback.
my quarterback, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
He's been awful.
He wasn't he last year at the beginning,
Right.
and then he really
Yeah.
picked it up. He ended up being like the number 3 quarterback in fantasy.
I feel like if you
That's
would have made it
unmaking.
one more week, you would have made it far because bye weeks now.
Yeah.
The bye weeks are starting. This is going to change everything.
Well,
Like,
that's the
there's a
other
couple
thing.
guys in the league that are just killing it. I
Right.
mean, they're like,
Yeah.
they're doubling points of
But
everybody
I
else.
guarantee you that those top 5 people had top 5 picks.
Probably.
Christian McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson, because
Yeah.
your floor is set. And anyway,
Yeah.
so this is my punishment, and here you go, Paul. I won't be able to wear this Sunday morning. I might slip it in underneath a flannel, just for you. But this
the
right
word.
here just cannot probably be up on the
Can we
front.
put tape over it, like,
I uck.
or just like white duct
I
tape?
suh. What part would you cover? The whole thing?
Just the whole thing, and it just says fantasy football.
I at fantasy football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just this whole.
Just the whole
top.
thing. Just
Okay.
put duct tape,
Yeah.
pink duct tape all the way across.
Pink duct tape. Who has pink duct tape? Do they make pink duct tape?
sure
I
they
think
do.
they do. Why wouldn't they?
There's pink ducks out there. They need tape.
So anyway,
But I think that's a really good segue too. If we talk about
controversial things.
no
Oh,
reverence.
reverence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We now know where Andy's line is for reverence. We now know.
He won't wear that pink
he
shirt
won't wear
on
that
stage
shirt
when he's
on-
leading worship.
when he's leading worship.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure other powers that be would not let me wear it either.
Was that mine or yours? Did I do that and
Yeah. So I think it's good though. I think it's good you're wearing it. People have asked, how would you describe the podcast? And I say it's just personal therapy for 3 people. We just we can't afford counseling, the 3 of us.
And it's usually
this is our counseling.
therapy for 2 other people. And I just sit and listen.
Is this 4 or 5 weeks in a row?
What?
4 weeks in a row?
Oh, that
Or
we've done the
5?
podcast? 4 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Either way, it's
and
a
next
record.
week, one of y'all have to dip out. Although it's going to be at 1 o'clock. Sorry, Mike. So it's probably you. But I got Scott Whitman
Oh, nice.
next week at 1.
Yeah.
He said 1 o'clock is better for him. So
Good.
that means you're
Nice.
unable to do it, Mike. That
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Let's talk about, since it sounds like you're not getting enough airtime. I mean, you clearly made that known right now. Let's talk about the Twins, Andy. I'd like to ask you questions about the Twins.
awesome.
Okay.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Now we have to face
Are they
the
going to be in the
Astros.
playoffs? What's happening?
So I didn't watch any Twins this year because I don't have a TV that plays the Twins, and so I was first time watching them.
Right, ESPN.
That their pitching is really good,
It is.
but we need some offense. Is that going to hurt us?
Maybe.
I think.
I mean, we got like nobody. That Royce Lewis is good,
Yeah.
and then
Very good.
I mean, Carrera had a couple hits, but nobody was
Correa.
really crushing the ball.
Here's
Yeah.
the deal. Correa's good when he knows what's coming.
I can't.
When
I'm
someone's
excited.
banging a trash can.
Well, and it's funny
I have
because
to.
game 1 they were talking. A-Rod was.
Yeah.
He didn't say it explicitly, but Paul and I were talking about this. That he alluded to, wondering if the Twins or if Gosman was tipping pitches because they were 100%
Yeah.
laying off of the splitter. But
Yeah,
it was
that's
he was
been the
throwing
talk,
it
right?
on beginning of counts
Yeah.
when it's 0-0, 1-0. I think because the Twins led the major leagues in strikeouts this last season, going into the playoffs as a manager, you're probably thinking, work the count,
Yeah.
take pitches,
Right,
especially
right.
for Gosman,
Yeah.
make him work get that pitch count up. And his splitter is a nasty pitch. I mean, he did still get like 5 or 6 strikeouts on it, and so. But A-Rod was like, wondering if they're tipping pitches, if he was tipping pitches, or they're, but then what proved to me that there was no weirdness is that Correa struck out twice. But it's going to be interesting to see him in Houston.
Isn't it crazy how like they talk about they don't see a splitter very often when I don't know, like what 15 years ago that was like the dominant
This
out
year,
pitch.
this
Like,
year
there
it was a
every
popular
guy-
pitch.
That was like the big pitch was guy had a good nasty splitter.
Doesn't it bat on the elbow?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Twins
but what
have
is
an
it?
amazing.
Was it
guy
though?
that-
Because like now every year has 3 Tommy John surgeries like in their first 5 years in the
Yeah,
big.
I
So
think
who knows?
the cutter is worse on.
yeah
on the,
might be.
But the Twins have a really good split baller thrower. He throws at almost 100 miles an hour.
Is that closer?
Yohan Duran.
Yeah.
That dude's throwing flames
he's pretty
yesterday.
nasty.
Yeah.
He almost the first. Did you? You watched it? Okay. The first 2 pitches.
Actually, I was at youth group last night, and we were doing music. I got done, and I walked to the back. I got to see most of the 9th inning.
Okay.
I was sitting in the back. We were watching it on a phone while Brax was doing the game. Sorry.
Well, the first 2 pitches he almost threw into the 3rd row.
Right, yeah.
I mean, and about 105
Right.
miles an hour
and
too.
me and Ethan Hickel were back there like, oh, come on.
That's what I would do if I threw 105 though. I
Right.
would
So okay. So my other
bust loose
question.
on a
Wild
couple
thing.
like that. I mean,
speaking of
they're gonna be
wild
nervous. Batter's gonna be nervous if you
Just
throw
a bit
105.
outside chin music. My brother just bought me. I just got it yesterday. A Vaughn,
Vaughn?
Cleveland Indians.
Oh,
Vaughn shirt.
nice. 99?
jersey. 99. I was
that's
thinking
nice.
about if I do end up showing up to the trunk or treat,
Yes.
that I would actually shave my head
Oh, the little
with the lines in it.
Try-
I have black rim
Get
glasses.
The, get the skull. Can you get the skull
I
and
can't get the
crossbones in
skull.
your glasses in time? I
I
bet
could
they have
probably
them.
put
I
some
bet
white
they have
tape
on Amazon.
and I could.
I bet you right now you
Yeah.
could get Rick Vaughn glasses on Amazon.
I'll look.
Okay.
And
so
if you
my-
can't get them on Amazon, you get them on that Temu or whatever. What's the other one? What's that other like? The app is supposed to be like Chinese spyware, kind of like TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Oh.
Yeah, but it's like like Amazon. It's I get ads. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then, it's,
Oh, I could just buy the glasses.
yeah.
There you go.
I'll just buy the
Wild
glasses.
thing. Yeah.
Do they have
$11?
What's that one in the middle? What's that? Does it have it? The skull and crossbones?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, but
it's
this,
bigger than the.
This one actually has like lightning bolts on the side.
Yeah, but he didn't have those.
You didn't?
That was on his hair. See, someone did that because they thought, oh, I'm not gonna get my hair cut that way. That'd be a nice little costume. There.
All right. My next question for you, Andrew, is
Andrew.
Andrew James,
Am I in trouble?
AJ,
Bar-
Am I in
AJ.
trouble?
Barreros. What do you say?
Barrios.
Barrios.
Is like wheeling, dealing.
Right.
He throws 35 pitches and they take him out.
Yep.
That's That's baseball.
What's going
man.
on there?
That's baseball.
That is.
It was the 4th inning, 3rd inning. What was it?
It was 3rd inning, right? I
Yeah,
think they
and he
took
had
him out.
a lot of high leverage pitches, and he was making his way almost to the 3rd time through the lineup. That's
Statistically, batting averages or whatever offensive metric you want to take,
Yeah.
statistically goes way up, and
see the pitcher a
pitching
couple
performance
times?
goes way down through third time
through
through
the
the
third
lineup.
time
Yeah.
through. And last year with the Twins, it was driving me nuts because they were pulling their pitchers, a lot of their pitchers, after they've gone through the lineup twice.
Yeah.
And you're going to be at 35 to 65 pitches at that
Which
point.
makes sense on a very quick level. If you think about batting average, like a lot of new stat geeks say batting average is a worthless stat. I would disagree, but that makes sense. Third time through the lineup, a good batting average is 300. That's a hit. Successful roughly a third of the
Right.
time. So if you see a pitcher twice, you kind of see the movement of the ball. You see what he's got. You see kind of the arm angle, all that stuff.
No, I mean that makes sense.
That's
but
modern
watching.
baseball. It sucks. I don't like it.
Watching from my couch, and I mean, his pitches were moving, and he looked good.
Right.
And he walked one batter.
He's looked good all year.
Yeah, they walked one batter and then they pull him, and I was like, "What are they doing?" I mean, this wasn't even. This is first guessing. I was like, "Wow, I can't believe they're doing this." And then
their bullpen's good though. It's like the Twins. I mean,
then
you
they
get good
failed
bullpens,
them.
and you
I mean,
try
how
going
mad
that
was
direction.
he?
Yeah, but if you flip it around and say that was the Twins, that happened to the Twins, we'd be talking. All sports, Minnesota sports, would be talking about whether or not we should have kept the
Right.
pitcher in.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I don't
that's-
disagree. I hate the, 3
Yeah.
or the 3-4 inning start, especially the guy's a starter. He's not like a, teams will have the bullpen game. Who had that yesterday, or the first day of the playoffs? Was that Arizona? No, who threw a bullpen game?
Miami.
What do you mean by a bullpen?
Was it Miami?
game?
Like a bullpen long reliever, not a traditional starter.
Oh.
Started the
Have
game.
everybody go a couple innings,
Gotcha.
Goes like 2-3 innings, and then
and then another guy
Yeah.
goes.
So they're saving their starters.
Or they try to like get to line them up right. Maybe your number one starter had to throw one of the last regular season games to give him his normal day's rest.
What's crazy is that all these first games of the playoffs, all sweeps.
Yeah.
Were they all? of
Yeah.
them? Okay, so here that's my,
Diamondbacks swept.
so then my third question
Phillies swept.
is this or comment. We just won a 2-game series, and they're spraying
3-game series,
whatever,
technically.
spraying champagne on each other and celebrating they won like they won the World Series again.
Yeah.
Is that what you're supposed to do, or after winning? What do you guys think about that? Seems to me just won the first round. Can we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Is it
seems
over
like
celebration,
It seems
or
like
is
it
that-
started.
Is that what every team does, or is this just the
Yeah,
Twins?
all the other
They
teams
do.
did it too.
Oh,
Some do.
okay.
Some not as excessive. It depends. Like how long since you've been there. Are they all young guys? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Phillies.
So it's not just the Twins doing it.
Phillies did the same thing. Texas did the same
Would the
thing.
Yankees do it?
Yankees, we wouldn't know.
The
Well, what
Yankees
about
aren't there.
what about will your team do it?
The Dodgers?
They're in it every year.
Yeah, I don't think they did last year. If I remember, I don't think they celebrated too hard with the first round, first wild card. No, was it last year they went out in the wild card round to Padres, or was it second round?
Second round.
Yeah,
I can't
think they-
remember. I mean, I know it's been 18 to 20 years. It's been a long time since they won.
Yeah, like 18
Yeah.
years.
Use it.
That's
so I
why.
guess, but it was like, wow, we're really
hear
going to town here with the celebration.
Correa compare the Twins to when he came up with the Astros. Some of the young guys. Did you hear him say that post game interview?
No, I don't
I just-
listen to
'cause-
anything he says.
I don't. I tend to tune him out too. But I went home
like it.
last
I
night
do not like
and
it
I
at all.
I left here like game was over. I went home and skipped ahead to see the Twins score and see the pickoff play at second that
That was
everyone was
cool.
talking about.
Yeah,
Which
that was pretty cool.
it was a nice play. It wasn't a great play. It was horrible base running.
Right.
That's like you don't see that in the big leagues very often.
No.
A guy get caught like that.
I did hear Correa talking about, he was kind of elevating himself, saying, "I told Sonny if I look at you,
Yeah.
throw me the ball because they're taking generous leads and all this kind of stuff."
And that's that happens. I mean,
that's good ball.
Middle
And he's a
infielders do with
great
pitchers.
fielder.
No, it's great.
Well, that
Great
first-
shortstop.
I have nothing against him as a fielder.
No, he's a great shortstop.
And I wish we just had a
I have
designated
nothing against him as a. I have everything against him as a human
way
being.
over. Yeah, and he's way overpaid.
Oh well, yeah.
I mean, in proportion, they're all overpaid. But after getting rejected by 2 other teams, then he comes back.
Neither of which are in the playoffs.
Right. Did you get that meme I sent you about the Mets, or that little GIF where it says the Mets season in a nutshell, and the guy gets a pitch right to the
Yeah.
to the
I did.
tenders.
Yeah. Yep.
After swinging.
Yep. Swung through it. Cup check.
Yep.
What about Correa's play in the first game?
I didn't even see it. I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
in
that
the
was a
first
nice
game.
play.
That
Again,
was-
Yeah. No,
some,
great,
some
great
people were saying that's
infielder.
just like as good as Derek Jeter's.
yeah.
Derek Jeter's play is highly overrated. I will die on that hill. That is the most overrated play in the history of baseball.
Wow, we
Close
sparked-
second is
we
the
sparked the
yes,
nerve
because
here.
this Derek Jeter
This hate
is
for
the
Jeter
most.
is worse than mine for Correa. Yep.
I'll say it.
Say it.
The most overrated player in baseball history.
Who is?
Derek Jeter.
Whoa.
I came back slightly on that when I realized, wow, he really is the first and only Yankee to have 3,000 hits. I didn't realize that. Like, he can hit, like he always hit, 300 plus, but
Did you watch The Captain on Hulu?
no.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that because it's about his career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate him. I just think, who said it? Was it Big Poppy? Someone said if he would have played in Kansas City, he would have his career. He wouldn't.
Well, you could say that for a lot of people.
You say right. It's New York. I get
mean,
it. But like,
Celeste is tired of our sports talk.
because
Hey, we
let's
should
just
talk about.
address the elephant in the room. She's from Houston area,
Oh yeah, that's
so
right.
we can't bash Correa.
Twins, Houston.
yeah.
We can't bash
Right in the
Correa.
nerve.
Yeah, we could talk about Borderlands. You guys know what Borderlands is? It's a video game.
No.
Yeah, I saw your post that you put on Facebook the other day where it says you always let him drive. That was the way my brother is when we would play Borderlands together because he's terrible at driving in video games, and he'd always just jump in the gunner
Seriously,
seat
I
and I
don't
would jump in the driver's seat. But anyway, that's enough sports talk, right?
Yep.
No,
Excited
never.
for Friday.
There was a
Friday
question
game
in there,
1
I
against
forgot.
Houston.
No, Saturday.
Saturday at 3.
Yeah.
Monday Tuesday they're back here in town. I should try to go. If anybody has tickets they
Yeah,
want to give
I'm down.
me,
Yeah.
If anyone
Please
needs
let
unload
me know.
tickets,
Please let us if you have 3 tickets.
Hey, I have never been to a playoff game, baseball game,
Neither have I.
ever.
I've never been to a baseball game ever.
you know what?
Just kidding.
I've never been.
You were with me earlier this
I
summer.
was trying to get people to feel bad for us. Okay.
Oh, now Amy's jumping in. Oh, now all the people that are.
See, that's
in
what
the
we just got
waiting
to talk
weeds.
about other stuff, and then we
I
actually
didn't know
get some
people are
interaction.
listening. Then we just talk about baseball.
All right. I have a question then.
Do you?
Speaking of, see, we're having coffee.
I feel like
We're
this
having
is
coffee.
Some of you are,
And we're having,
I'm not. Is this
what is
Is this
this?
supposed to be for me?
Yeah, it's for you.
pumpkin something
Pumpkin zucchini
cake.
bread.
bread.
No,
it's good. I had some.
Yeah.
Does it have pumpkin spice in it?
Is pumpkin
Well,
a spice?
It's
I
got to
don't
go
know.
with the theme. It's got to go with
Speaking
the
of spice.
October theme.
Pumpkin spice. I started that Beckham documentary. Jordan and I watched the first episode of the
Speaking
Beckham.
of sports, back into sports.
It's Spice. He's married to one of the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Pumpkin Spice or
Sure.
Allspice or
Allspice, I think.
yeah,
Yep.
whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
All
Sorry.
right. So I'm going to pose this question since I came across this article. Does it matter who says it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is in
Does
national.
to me.
This is
With
in-
you reading it, it does.
It's in national. It was national news, and I didn't see the tweet when it first came out, but it reached national news. A local pastor,
Local Minneapolis.
locals
pastor.
Minneapolis,
It wasn't one of us three.
John Piper, tweeted, and it reached national news, and it says, "Can we reassess whether Sunday coffee sipping in the sanctuary fits?" End of quote. And then he quotes Hebrews 12:28, which says, "Let us offer to God acceptable worship with reverence and awe."
From the book of Hebrews.
It's a classic
I mean-
Greg joke.
That I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that was Larry David who tweeted that out as John Piper because that's a good joke. I mean, why else? It's perfect.
He looks, John Piper looks like the unfunny version of Larry
Yeah.
David.
Yeah.
So that leads me to the question of, and I grew up Catholic, went to a Catholic school, and then come to an evangelical church till I was a teenager. And so I have that history, and maybe you guys have probably been in different churches. You've done Lutheran churches, and you've been in different denominations. Our church has, and there was no coffee or anything like that in my growing up. Until we started going to, although I don't really remember coffee necessarily even at the evangelical church, the Christian Mission Alliance church, until later on.
What about Open Door? I bet they had coffee.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. I'm not sure if you could bring it into the sanctuary, though, if they had like signs.
When you
that
went to
said no.
Catholic church, because later in that article
Yeah,
they had
I
all
didn't
these
know that.
responses about what everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I
Huntington?
hate I hate in news. I hate in articles like so and so on Twitter at what some no name says.
Right,
It's
right,
Like, no,
yeah.
just be a reporter
Right,
and do your job.
right.
Like write an article.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Bob's Bees says, I go to this
Right.
church. And yeah.
it's stupid.
So we here at
But
Northridge, you can have your cup of coffee, and we are allowed to take it into the
Yeah,
sanctuary.
I tell
There's no
people all the
sign.
time. They're
Okay?
surprised by it.
Except for the
And-
people that spill. Please don't bring.
No, exactly what I say. You could take coffee in, but we have a no spill policy. Is what I tell people.
I know spills are
No spill policy.
accidental. And
So what happens if you do
non-intentional.
have a spill? Are you asked to leave?
Yeah, we don't enforce anything.
Okay.
It's just it's a policy. There's no
We
enforcement.
just spend a lot of money on our,
like
our
masks.
carpet cleaner.
But that goes with the broader question of, and kind of going back to the shirt, like, I don't know if this would be appropriate to wear this shirt up front. Is there a line, or how do you guys assess that? What do you think of that quote? Do we need to reassess our reverence? Essentially, what he's saying in the service. We've gotten too. The point he's trying to make is we've gotten too lax. We've gotten too laid back.
Yeah, I guess, first taking a look at the word reverence, what does that mean?
Well, I think respect. Respect, honor, to revere.
To revere.
Which means
To hold in high accord.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is drinking coffee working against that definition? Is it?
Well, I'm asking you the questions.
Oh. I'm
I
usually
like
the one
this. I
asking the
like
question.
it. No, I like
Exactly.
this. I like this. I like this setup.
Yeah, don't
Mike's
answer a
asking
question
the
with a
tough
question,
questions.
Jesus. Just answer the
First
question.
of all, when you texted
Okay.
us that this
I
morning,
did
my
not-
first thought, honestly, was that meme, the angry old man yells at cloud. That's what I thought.
Full disclosure, I bring coffee into the sanctuary. Just so, okay.
And also, and
and
we
spill
talked about,
everywhere weekly.
Oh,
Okay.
it's you.
Piper,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah,
you
we
went to
know-
Bethlehem, right?
So-
You guys
Didn't you go to
mostly sit in
Bethlehem?
the same
Not really.
places every week. We know where the spills are, so we know who is
Right.
spilling the coffee.
That's
By
why
the way,
we had
black
to move.
coffee does not stain, or you could get the stain
Is it the
out.
cream that
It's the
people
cream
put in
and
there?
decaf.
Decaf.
Decaf
Why
is
does
artificially
decaf?
colored.
Oh, it's artificially
Yeah,
colored.
it's hard to get out.
So
Anyway.
I'm just on full disclosure. You guys are working, so you're not. Doing that. But so, what do you think? Have we gotten too lax?
That's hard. I think.
God,
Are we too lax? Yeah. I mean, I think in everything we do, where are you going to draw the line? Because
man sees the outward appearance, but God sees the heart.
so you could go the other way very easily. I don't even know how to approach this. There's so much, but years ago,
full steam ahead.
No, well, I mean, there's so many things, so many angles you could take at, right? Like,
Right.
first of all, I guess I need to start and say, even though I said I hate when articles do this and they cite commenters or whatever, I do like what someone said. This something along the lines of there's a principle here that we all need to consider. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, that is absolutely true. If there's a principle here we need to consider. What is reverent? What is not? But to me, it's like, in what setting, and time and place, and is it only when we enter this specific room where, I don't know, should it be more of a lifestyle of worship, or is it only you can't have coffee when you're in a certain room because there's corporate worship there? I don't know. It starts getting fuzzy to me, and then could easily get either dogmatic and legalistic, or we see like it goes way too far the other way. I'd agree. There's like, I'm not one to dress up. Like, I don't want to wear a suit and tie and dress shirt, but also it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I could wear that to church on Sunday. Like, same thing. Like, I come to the office. It's a pretty casual atmosphere around here, but
Are you
like,
kidding me? Really?
yesterday. But there's some things that like grab out of like
What if I wore a
look at my closet.
sport
I'm like,
coat?
no, I can't wear that to the office. Like, I don't know, it's weird.
If I wore a sport coat over this,
That would dress it up. That would class it up, and it would look kind of more like
You'd look
Oh.
hip now with it. Wow.
yeah.
you bought that at like Urban Outfitters or something. That whole get up. What I was going to mention is Jordan and I years ago went to a church that was, I would say, probably fairly fundamental, like fundamentalist, conservative Baptist. We were there for like one Sunday night service for something else. It's not like a church we attended. In fact, it was out of town. It was down in Chicago area. But we walked in, and Jordan's comment was, because she's experienced these types of settings before in churches, she looked around and saw how nice everyone was dressed, and she told me, you know what? This is the type of church where the ladies compete with each other on how nice of a dress they're wearing, and like they want to look really nice because they're trying to compete with everyone else. And I would not have had that assessment of anything. I would just thought like, oh, this is one of those churches where men wear suits and ladies dress nice. But after she said that, I was kind of looking around. I'm like, I think she's right. Like it was a wealthier suburb, and so it's
White?
like,
Mostly white people.
oh, of course, yeah.
Because you see that in like
Yeah.
black gospel churches where, like the senior people like wear suits.
Oh, absolutely. Dressed
Yeah,
to the
and-
nines.
Yeah.
No, and a lot
Absolutely.
of that's cultural too. Like,
Yeah.
not just like cultural in a race or that kind of sense, but just Sunday's best, like is
Church culture.
Bible Belt, church in the South. Like I remember, my dad it was in furniture retail his whole career, and he worked for a California company for a good chunk of that, and it was sales. So like I think he wore like dress pants and a shirt and stuff. But at one point, he started working for a company, a bigger retail company, and they were based in Chicago, and they required them to wear a suit and tie. He was like, oh, this is so lame. But it was more of a Midwestern thing. California, definitely more casual. So it's like regional kind of cultural things. There's a whole bunch of layers there with dress, just in general.
When I've gone to services outside of the United States, so I can think specifically of Mexico, Dominican Republic,
Yeah.
Bermuda. They are dressed.
Yep.
They might not have anything, but the best things they have,
They got a suit
they
on.
wear
Yeah.
on Sunday morning.
Yeah. But why? Do you think? No, I'm serious.
No,
Like,
I-
why? Do you think they're getting dressed on that Sunday morning, thinking I'm dressing this way in reverence toward God, or I'm dressing this way because I'm going to church and this is how I'm supposed to dress? You know what I mean? Is it like this is just how it's been and how it's supposed to be, and I don't really know why, or are they actually going through that process of even like prayerfully putting their tie on? It sounds silly, but
Yeah.
if it really is for reverence, and then shouldn't you be going through that process at that time too? I'm asking questions now. I don't know, because clearly I'm not a very reverent guy.
Well, I don't know about that.
I just joking.
Well, that's why I asked the question about reverence and what is it, and what is reverent. Because I had some people.
I'll tell you what.
Was
you,
it here?
you start coming for my coffee on Sunday morning, you're gonna get a lot of irreverent behavior. Because what did he say? Is it supposed to be in what is it? Reverence and awe? Is that what he said?
Oh, I gotta find it.
You didn't have it memorized? I thought you.
It's reverence and awe. They're two different things, right?
What did he say? Worship something?
Well, he quoted Hebrews, let us offer to God acceptable worship with reverence and awe.
Yeah, but what? Okay, what was his?
Oh.
Piper's Call.
Oh yeah, that was.
Can we reassess
Okay,
whether
reassess.
Sunday coffee sipping in the sanctuary fits?
Yeah.
I think the answer to that is yes. I think you can reassess.
Right, that's what I was just gonna say. So
I think you
he's
can't
cleverly just trying to get people to get mad at him or talk about
Which
it.
is all about what Twitter or X is all about.
He's not.
yeah.
He's not particularly
Are you
saying
still?
we shouldn't do
Are you
this.
still calling it Twitter, or are you calling it X?
I don't know. Doesn't feel appropriate to call it X.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you gonna finish
Want
that?
more?
I'm not going to
We'll
drink
save it
any
for
of it. I
Sunday.
don't drink any of it.
I got a collection over here.
So
You should have known better than that. To pour me.
Reverence and awe versus like grumpiness and fatigue without caffeine. Is that?
well, what do you think, Andrew?
About-
Do you ever? Well,
You're the
up
worship
front.
guy?
You're the worship guy. I mean, what do you?
Well,
what do you
you're the
think?
love God guy.
Yeah, you see everybody out there.
Clearly, you have no
Do you ever go, man?
good opinion
there's-
on fantasy football that you could share, but share with us.
Let's do the opposite of what I say.
Yeah.
Somebody actually asked me years ago. I don't think this was at Northridge. It was before that. They were complaining about the volume, and they related it to not being reverent. And I said, I don't believe there's anywhere in the Bible where it talks about volume in terms of being irreverent. And I think it goes back to this idea of
If anything, it's the opposite. Shout to the Lord, right?
Right, there's all
always
sorts
like
of
this.
I was
you know.
gonna say you should have said, but it's awe-inspiring.
it goes back to the intention and the authenticity of the bringer, the worshiper. As a collective, I don't think there's a conversation to be had of like what are we doing as collectively, because not everybody's drinking coffee, and not everybody who's drinking coffee is distracted. Some might be, but that, again, goes back to the individual. Some people, like, what if you're a terrible singer? Is that irreverent?
Make a joyful noise.
Right. And so, I think it's, I don't know. I think it's a silly thing. Now, at the Lutheran church that I was at in Plymouth, you weren't allowed to bring coffee. And they had stone floor. It wasn't carpet. So it really wasn't even about spilling. It was just...
It's a safety concern. It's slippery.
Now, at your Catholic church...
Yeah.
Because in that article, there
that's
was
what I was
some
gonna say.
Catholic
I
priests
had
that
no idea
chimed
about
in that they have to. Some of them institute a fast before taking communion.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the way you?
I don't remember that specifically. I mean,
That's a whole nother thing.
that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was interesting. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I've never.
You're a terrible
I
Catholic.
Well,
And then I knew for Mormons, they abstain from certain things like caffeine.
Right.
And I knew that because my brother has a Mormon friend, and I knew some Mormons, and
Seventh-day Adventists, or
they
like
don't
even
drink
more
soda, or they don't drink coffee, and so that's not an issue.
but I do think the coffee or the refreshments in the sanctuary is limited to a few denominations within the Christian.
Yeah.
What about water?
Faith.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not even about coffee, is it? It's just about anything.
Right.
Like, could you bring a bottle of water with you?
So I remember the first church I was on staff with, we had people, you weren't supposed to take stuff in. Honestly, that wasn't about reverence. It was more about, hey, we just built this building and we don't want coffee stains everywhere. And I only remember that now because you mentioned water. My sister, Misty, was pregnant, and she always had water with her. And one of the ushers actually
Confiscated?
started like to stop her before going in, and she's like, "No, I need water," and they let her go. It was before the time that we all had our hydration flasks
just a
everywhere.
bottle of water?
Just a little plastic bottle of water with a screw lid and stuff. So it's not like a spill problem, but yeah, I don't know. It was maybe more just like a few denominations, or maybe it's just the culture of the place or the church. I don't know. I had no idea you couldn't. I didn't know that you.
I would say it's
fasted. That Catholics fast.
Yeah.
And for how long? I don't know. Like,
Well, some of them
Just that
said
day.
20 minutes. The other one said the Saturday, it starts Saturday, and then you break your fast on breakfast that Sunday morning.
Okay.
so here's
But that's before
That's an
Eucharist or
interesting
communion.
thing. Man, I haven't considered that for Sundays. I kind of like that.
it is interesting.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea. I don't know.
I don't hate
I'll
it
say
either.
this.
See, it's doing something internally
Yeah.
inside of you,
Yeah.
which is, again, back to the point of it's this individual
Right.
conviction.
Right.
If that is you and you're feeling like this is a distraction
Yeah.
to you, maybe try not bringing coffee into the worship center
Yeah.
next time to see if that changes the way you're focused on what's
Yeah.
happening. I don't know.
Or
I think for
try
other
it.
people, it's not even an issue. It's
On a
so
communion
subconsciously
Sunday,
they intravenously take coffee in, just unconsciously that it's not even a
Right.
distraction because it's just such a.
I'll tell you what, and I always tell people, especially when they're new here, like it's okay if you need to get out, especially if they have a small child. Like it's okay if they're fussy and you need to walk out. It's fine. It's not going to bother Ben or any staff. You could do that. But man, a lot of people get up and come out and get a refill of coffee during the service. So maybe there's
that's the problem.
Maybe there's a problem
Why don't you
there.
set up the stations inside to come all the way out?
maybe.
Seems
And I
inappropriate.
Maybe
can't
just
believe-
refills are irreverent. Refills.
refilling your coffee in the
You know, if you're at
worship
the
hour.
Twins game, you can do the app and they'll bring like the food to you.
I was going to say, I
Have you
can't
tried
believe
that?
I may have had one or two positive words for Carlos Correa this podcast. I'm going to say something positive about the Giants, San Francisco Giants. The stadium, which I begrudgingly say is an amazing
a beautiful
ballpark. It's
stadium.
beautiful. It's great. But one of the best things ever is they got coffee vendors. Like the hot dog guys at the ballpark, like they got someone with looks like our black pot caress, but bigger in a backpack and like a little
Yeah, I've
little
seen they have
like
Jägermeister.
hose thing. And it's like they fill up the cup and pass it back down. It's like
They have
this
guys
is
wandering
wonderful.
around with Jägermeister
Yeah.
tanks on their back too.
Yeah,
Do you think you could get more ushers if you strapped coffee to
probably,
their
we
back?
probably could. We probably could.
Here's your
But-
name tag and here's your 8 gallons of coffee.
That is interesting because why? What makes you look? Clearly, I'm a huge coffee guy. I drink it all day.
You'll probably
But-
kill that whole container.
I wouldn't. Actually, I don't drink it nearly as much as I used to. But I'll tell you, between me, Dan, and Scott Whitman, we could kill that in about an hour probably. But that is strange. If you really think about it, to get up in the middle of a church service to come refill your coffee cup, that is kind of
So here's my take.
Yeah.
I think just in general, overall, as a society, we've gotten a lot more relaxed.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
I mean, go to a nice restaurant. You'll see people with hats on,
Yeah.
shorts,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
and it's like, whoa.
They still have those restaurants where you need a sport coat to
It's
get in.
yeah, it is, but it's
just-
rare.
I'm never going there.
It's rare, right? And
Do
so
they give
it's-
you a loaner
yeah.
or something if you don't have it? Yeah.
So I think just overall, and I think I think kids generally are not nearly as respectful to adults as once we were. I mean, I never called my friends' parents by their first name. It was always
Yeah.
Mr. This or Mrs. Until like way later in life,
Yeah.
and that. So you see that. I don't know. I think just like anything, though, it just becomes routine and a habit. So it doesn't necessarily mean any more or less reverence necessarily. I will say, and I've said this to you guys before, my favorite week here, not just because it's Holy Week, but because of the way we do services here during Holy Week, is it's just awesome. I just love the different formats.
Yeah.
I love the different. Sometimes it's super intimate. Sometimes it's more worshipful. Sometimes whatever it is, right? You guys mix it up beautifully, and because of the variety of it, it helps me feel more connected and get that awe-ness that he's going for in that quote. So I don't know if you show up every week, in a suit and tie, that all of a sudden you're more reverent. I think, but I think that is something we should be checking our hearts before we come to worship every Sunday. Am I ready to enter into a time of worshiping the most holy of holies, right? And if that does include lemonade or whatever we have, coffee or iced tea, or tea, I mean, okay, great. And if it includes wearing a shirt like that, I guess. But I'm sure you've gotten, I'm sure some people have wondered, why does that guy not have shoes on up there? I'm sure that's come up, not you,
Oh,
but
It has. And my response is,
Like Moses.
Moses walked in
Right.
Right.
the burning bush, and God said, take your shoes off. This is holy ground.
right. And so, but even just everything in the evangelical church has gotten a little bit more lax, which is fine. I mean, I don't remember pastors not preaching in suits until fairly recently. I don't know if Ben ever did particularly, not since we've been here.
No. He would do like Christmas and Easter.
Yeah.
And then he stopped doing Christmas. And then this last Easter, he stopped doing
Yeah.
Easter. Yeah. Because, those are once or twice a year moments where there's a lot of guests there. And he doesn't like giving off the impression that this is what our church is like. And so we actually had a picture on our Facebook Northridge page that was him preaching with a suit on. He's like, take that down, please.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want
I don't wear
people to
suits.
think that this is,
Yeah.
what our church is like. And
And I remember growing up in a Christian Missionary Alliance church, and all of the pastors we had, every Sunday, they had a suit and tie on. And I think even the first few times I preached, I had for sure a tie on. But I will say that that is so uncomfortable for me, like to get up and speak, and that it wouldn't be authentic to who I am, or you guys when you guys speak. So it would almost feel like you're not being who you are, and
I've tried to force myself into a sports coat on Easter, which
And I like to. I mean, I like to dress. I like to look nice and dress up, but to put a suit. I mean,
I don't.
but then Brax puts a suit
I
and
was gonna
tie on
say,
to go outside to play tennis.
I know
You know.
we leave that to Brax. Suit and tie.
But he also drinks water out of an Iron Man cup when he preaches. So I don't know.
He draws pictures on his whiteboard.
Yeah.
That's what's funny though. So why coffee? Celeste has her song lyrics of. Why do you think he picked that specifically? Taking coffee. Yeah.
It's probably relatable. You know,
Man, I sit in the back and I eat grapefruit. I cut up a grapefruit. When
That's usually not what people aren't doing. Usually don't have a grapefruit problem. People bringing in, cutting up a
or
watermelon.
breakfast, eating breakfast bar or like
We're not chewing gum.
yeah.
Having a
You know
cough
what?
drop.
I'm gonna out him. Paul Schoolmeisters chews gum when he sings.
Yeah. I started chewing gum when I run because it helps me breathe through my nose better. Honestly, like I caught myself, I was just breathing through my mouth.
Mouth breather.
Like when I get tired, because I'm, hey man, fat, out of shape, and I can't go very far, and it's like sucking wind. But I started chewing gum, and I'm like, I tried it one time. I was like, yeah, it works, because then if you breathe through your mouth while you're chewing gum, you're probably going to choke. Yeah. I don't want to choke while I'm running.
That's
I mean,
true.
I don't want to die while running.
That's true. At least not that.
No, but so
the question is, can we reassess? I think the answer is yeah. I think we should. I
Absolutely.
think we should reassess.
Yes.
What are we doing on Sunday
That's what I
morning?
mean. It's a crafty.
Yeah.
It's a crafty tweet, and I love to just make fun of John Piper because he's a cultural icon in this area. So I just I don't hate the guy.
I love him.
I know. That's why I like making fun of him even more.
Does this make you love him less?
No.
It makes me love
I
him
think
less.
it's no.
And
I think it
I
was
bet
just-
you.
I think he was holding back. He phrased it in a question. He didn't
I think
say
it was just
I
like
think he just saw a video of Greg Boyd taking a sip of coffee. I
he
guarantee
just did it to spite him. I
Yes.
just think he's another suspect of just what is that where you just
he's
say
bored.
something just to get a rise out of people.
Yeah.
Oh. But
Post and ghost, and then he just posted something and he's.
But I
gone.
think the reality is everybody has a line that we're like, I don't think we should be, up front in our swimsuits. That doesn't seem right. So everybody has a sense of, no.
Yeah, I don't wear shorts when
Right.
but
Exactly.
I also don't wear shorts when I golf. Either,
Right. That's true.
Which
And
is I don't golf anymore.
I think if we saw kids playing video games, like as a parent, we're like, what are you doing? Get off the video games. We're in,
Oh, I've
we're in
seen
the
that.
service. You have?
During
Yeah,
the
it happens.
service, or
because
Oh,
kids will
okay.
just give people a
on
phone, their
caffeine.
kid phone.
Okay.
I
But
agree.
I mean,
we
there's
all
nothing wrong with that.
But there is a point where we would say that doesn't seem appropriate in this room. And so in this instance, John is here on the coffee.
So is the
and I don't know what that is.
is
right?
it the room that makes it?
I think part of it.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
sweet.
Yeah.
Is it the room that makes it? Like you cross that
Right,
threshold,
right.
And now
That's
you're
kind of where I was getting at earlier. Like, why? So I get in the Catholic context because they believe that the actual physical site is important. That's why COVID, that whole shutdown period was. The Catholic Church was really vocal about no, you got to allow people to come.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't know. Do we believe like just entering past those doors means something more, or for that specific hour, it is sacred. It's the gathering of the body.
Right.
At least the grown-ups and some kids for an hour, whatever,
Yeah.
on a one time a week, and we're there for corporate worship and prayer and preaching, teaching. My thought when I say why coffee is, and this is maybe a whole nother subject, but to me, this is why I think it's important to say reassess. Yeah, that's a good word and individually, but okay, let's talk about communion. Why grape juice?
Well,
Because the same guy that says coffee, I'm not saying this is what Piper's saying, but I'll just say I think this is what he's saying is you shouldn't have coffee in church. Well, then why are we doing grape juice and not wine for communion? Why are we pretending like the scriptures are saying something else? Like, oh, no, it's just really good grape juice. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
But I get why we wouldn't do alcohol. Like, I understand that. But, you know, that's where, to me, it's like, how far do you chase these types of things?
Well, right. But, yeah. What does Paul say? Examine yourself to make sure you're in the faith.
Yeah.
Right? I think there is a real sense of examining. My favorite thing that I ever saw up front, I've never seen the video games thing, was actually, I love this kid. If I could adopt him, I would. But it's Paul's,
Is it Evan?
It's Adam. Adam St. Martin,
No.
Paul's son.
Oh, yeah. I think he likes you better than he likes Paul.
The kid's awesome.
He always
So
runs
I
up
was
to
up
you
there
and-
preaching, and he has binoculars on.
Yeah.
He had full binoculars looking at me. Like, that's
Binoculars.
awesome. There he is.
That's funny.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That's awesome.
So I think it's a good thing to at least check our hearts. I think we should do it every week.
Yeah,
And,
like Amy says, really makes
Yeah.
you think and encourage you to be more intentional on preparing yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually before entering into the time of worship.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly said.
Yeah. Again, it goes more back to the individual and
Right.
what's going on inside. And we can sit, stare, look at the outward stuff, whether they're dressed a certain way, they're drinking coffee, they're playing with their phone. But God sees what's going on the inside. You have to go?
I do.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's abrupt.
Yeah.
His order's ready at Starbucks.
See you, Mike.
Later.
Thanks.
Oh,
I had some really great questions for you, too.
dang it! I had a blind top 5 for Mike.
Blind top 5.
Yeah,
You want to save it or you want to?
you can do it if you want.
What is it?
Breakfast cereal.
Okay. I like cereal.
Do you? Okay, good. I didn't even know if you did. Here's what I
It
thought
used to
about.
be one of the only thing I used to know how to make.
What do I do with this milk? This is what I thought it would be funny with the blind top 5 thing is just coming up with some random thing and saying like, we all know Mike loves breakfast cereal, like not even knowing that he likes cereal. I don't know. Mike,
He probably eats grape nuts or something like that.
that was going to be one of my on there,
right.
but I didn't because I didn't know if enough people would know about it. I don't know. I feel like grape nuts.
My dad used to eat grape nuts.
My mom would get those from time to time. I'll be honest. Sometimes I would make a bowl, and I would like. They're not horrible, but I feel like my teeth are gonna break.
Yeah. Well, I would put like 2 spoonfuls of sugar on it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. And my dad would put bananas in it. It's like, ugh.
That was a crazy thing with cereal growing up. My mom would never get us like,
Sugar cereal?
yeah, like Lucky Charms or Trix or any of those
Yeah.
like
That was-
all the cereals that are marketed toward children.
Yeah. We had sugar cereal.
If you look
growing
at
up.
where they are in the store shelves,
Right,
they're
Mom?
at the
She listens to this sometimes, I know.
next time you go down the cereal aisle at Target,
Yeah.
look at where those cereals are. Where they're in the middle of
Yeah.
the shelf,
S-
right at
right
eye
at kid
level,
level?
to kids sitting in a shopping
Yeah.
cart.
So go ahead, do top 5 blind.
My mom would never let us get those cereals, but then we'd have to get like Cheerios or Corn Flakes, whatever, and then we'd put like 2 scoops of sugar on top. Yeah. So anyway, blind top 5. We want to do it? I got it on my
Cereal?
phone. Cereals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the top 5.
Go ahead,
Andy,
do
you
it.
got to rank your top 5 breakfast cereals.
Yep.
And you don't know which cereals you get. So be strategic and careful because you don't know which cereals I'm going to offer. So top 5, rank them. Andy Schultz, Captain Crunch.
Ooh.
Starting off with a banger.
When I was younger, that used to be my favorite. Except for after you eat it so many times, the
Cuts the roof.
ceiling, that's not
Cuts
the
the
roof.
ceiling of your mouth.
They used to say this is the roof of the mouth. That's
Yeah.
not the roof. This is the
Yeah,
roof of
I
your
know.
mouth.
That's the roof.
But it would cut up the inside of your mouth really bad. But I love it. Probably say number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, because I don't know.
When's the
what
last time
that-
you've had Captain Crunch?
It's probably been like 8 years.
Yeah, probably
But-
easy for me.
Yeah,
Way
just
more.
because I stopped eating a lot of the sugar stuff.
You know what is? I would argue, not argue. I'm just going to say is better than Captain Crunch. Similar effect to the sealing of your mouth is, and it's not on the list, but Honey O's. Have you ever had those Honey O's?
No.
Post.
I can't imagine they're better than Captain Crunch.
I will tell
and it's,
you.
by the way, it's the regular Captain Crunch, not Crunch Berries.
Yeah, or
just
the peanut
reg-
butter. It's
right.
just the regular
Ugh.
one. No,
Yeah,
I will
just the
tell
regular
you,
Captain Crunch.
Honey O's would be number 1 on my list of cereal.
My basis for all these rankings is how long does it stay crunchy? Because
Yeah, Honey O's
soggy
forever.
cereal is disgusting.
It's gross. Honey O's will stay crunchy, and will destroy the ceiling of your mouth.
Yeah.
But they're so good.
I'm reserving
It's
number
worth it.
one spot in case you say it. If you don't, then I'll have to put something else in there.
Okay.
But
What was Captain Crunch 2?
2.
Number 2. I would have thought you'd just go for number 1 and just be safe, but no. Okay. Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's pretty good, actually.
Better than
Wait,
you remember, I will say.
is Honey Nut Cheerios. You said Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut
okay, for
Cheerios.
some reason in my head, I went to Nut and Honey.
Nut and honey.
Remember that commercial?
Yeah. What you
Yeah.
eating? Nut and honey.
Nut and Honey. Honey Nut
cereal.
Cheerios, I'll say, because they're healthy.
Are they though? I don't
Yeah,
know.
they have the heart on their heart
Yeah,
healthy.
usually when they have to advertise that, it's not.
I will say.
I don't think they're bad. They're gluten free.
God,
Cheerios are. That doesn't mean they're healthy, but they're a good.
it's so early.
Snack
You did
for a
a
lot of
really
people.
good one and a kind of a mediocre one right in the middle.
I will say, when's the last time you've had Honey Nut Cheerios?
It's been over 10
I bet you
10
way
years.
better than you remember. As a kid, you think, Cheerios. I want Captain Crunch
Oh,
or whatever.
but Cheerios, gross. I would eat
I know,
the
but
Honey
still,
Nut Cheerios
Honey Nut, or
first.
I used to hate. My mom went through this apple cinnamon Cheerios phase, and I was like,
God, you're gonna give me I know you're gonna give me a gross one.
Those
so
are
I'll
good.
say 3.
that's a good
Because you're
ranking.
gonna give me a gross one in a second here. And
Over the summer, Cheerios released a limited edition. It was like frosted lemon or something.
Ugh,
No,
no.
I typically don't like lemon type stuff. They were amazing.
All right. What's the third one?
Amazing. Lemon,
Okay.
frosted lemon Cheerios would be
We get it.
number 1A on my list behind
Number
Honey
1A,
Nuts. Okay.
okay.
So you got Captain Crunch at 2. You got Honey Nut Cheerios
3.
at 3.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wheaties.
I want to say 4 or 5, but I'll go because it was cool to eat Wheaties as a kid. I'll go 4.
Because you thought you were going to be a famous athlete.
Right. I'll go 4.
4. Okay. That's good. Has there ever been a more successful marketing campaign for long term for such a terrible product? Because Wheaties are not good.
No.
But that's the breakfast
I
of
still
champions,
have.
man.
Speaking of the Minnesota Twins in the postseason, I
Dan
still
had it
have
forever up here.
a box of the '87
Yeah.
World Series Wheaties. Of
Remember
the Twins.
Dan used to have them in the office?
Was there Wheaties in them?
I think so.
Okay, because I still have a box with the Wheaties still
Yeah.
in.
Those might be a collector's item this year if the Twins.
Yeah, and I do have a
all the
'91
way.
box with no cereal in it. All right, number.
So can you think of something off the cuff? What an incredible marketing campaign for the duration of the history of that cereal. It's always been the breakfast of champions. It's always had like the famous athlete or championship team on the box,
Yeah, I can't think of anything that
and the product is awful.
that marketing that's successful. That's that garbage.
No one goes and buys Wheaties to eat
Oh,
it.
you know what? Cars for Kids.
That stupid song. Now I got that stuck in my song. There's like a remix now with kids.
Well, they
singing
had the
it.
one with the guy.
It's like the Kids Bop version
Yes,
of the
which is-
1877 cars for kids.
that one dude who can't sing who sang it.
K-A-R-S car. That's why I'm saying
And it's
it.
boom, chop, boom, chop. But then
Yeah.
the kids, the band did it. That was more cute, but it was still annoying.
It's Kids Bop.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got
Wheaties are
Cap-
bird food.
you're mean to birds, Sarah.
You want them to choke?
I like how we have the whole like women's ministry team on here. This is cool. Like
cool.
Sarah, Amy, and Celeste, and I don't know who else can we get in there. You had Captain Crunch at 2. You had Honey Nut Cheerios at 3. You have Wheaties at 4 or 5.
I'll say
4?
4.
Okay.
Because the little sugar doesn't.
All right, we're going. This is seasonal, but 'tis the season for not Captain Crunch. Count Chocula. This would be my
Dang it,
number
I would've-
1B.
I would have. Yeah. But see,
I have a tie at the top. Count Chocula.
See, I'd rather have Captain Crunch, but
I know someone's going to say
you're probably-
blueberries are better. You're wrong.
you're probably not going to say
Frankenberry, whatever. No, wrong.
the only
Captain-
cereal I eat
No.
these days. You're probably not going to say that one, so I'll just say 1.
Number 1, Count Chocula.
For Count
I could go with you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Because it's What's number?
Fun fact about Count Chocula, and this is relatable. This relates to somebody who you know.
Your wife.
I haven't done this in maybe the last 2 years, but in years past, the first time I'd see it in the store, I would take a picture of it and share it on Facebook because I would buy the box. And I said, the best time of the year when I get a box of Count Chocula, and I'm reminded that Liza Schoolmeisters had the greatest job of all time because she used to be Count Chocula at the Mall of America, had a store or something that had like cereal characters or something.
Really?
I don't know. This
She
is
used to do
pre-Minnesota Tizers. Yeah.
Wow.
And she was Count Chocula. I was like, that's
funny.
the best job ever.
What's the last one?
So you had Count Chocula at number 1. That's a strong number 1. I don't care what anyone says. Captain Crunch at number 2. I mean, you got a good top 2.
Honey
Honey
Nut
Nut Cheerios at
Cheerios,
3.
3.
I mean,
I could have
Wheaties
slid,
at
I could have
4?
slid those down to 4 and 5, but what's
Okay.
the last one? That's
last one?
automatically number 5.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh shoot!
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. Disgusting if you see that. You can't scrape that stuff off your bowl. Like any of the remnants that's
Right.
left when you try to,
Yeah.
it's hard to get, which makes you think like, what's this doing inside
and
my system?
even the the bag version, cinnamon toasters, those
Yeah.
are good too
So good.
because they stay crunchy.
I never
yeah.
thought of this, but
I
is it the
probably would-
same factor? Is it the same thing? Because
General Mills?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, is it General Mills or Post?
I don't know.
Because the Malto Mill is here in Minnesota, and so is Post. I think they're both in Northfield, right?
Yeah, if you
Malto
go to-
Mill is.
If you go down there, you
thought
can
Post
smell it
was-
all.
I wonder if I never thought about it, but anyway.
But
yeah.
I would have put that actually number 1.
Cinnamon
And I
Toast
was-
Crunch is top of the
I
list
would
for a
have
lot of
slid
people.
everything down except for I probably would have moved Captain Crunch and Count Chocula, flip flop those. But my number 1 cereal that I like to eat today, and it's the only cereal I've eaten for like the last 10 years, and it's not even weekly. It's maybe like once or twice a month I'll buy a box. It's the Quaker Oat Squares, cinnamon.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, my kids love those.
I'll even
especially Evan.
dry,
Oatmeal squares.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of
'Cause
Evan's long-term
you could
favorite.
drop them in milk
Yeah.
and go away for like 10 minutes and they're still
Yeah,
crunchy.
they're still good.
Yeah.
That's a good road trip snack because when we drive down to Texas, we'll have like snacks and stuff, and I'll get some of those in
Ooh,
a cup.
Frosted Flakes too. Those
Frosted Flakes
I
are
do
good.
like those.
Frosted mini wheats. Oh, chocolate mini wheats were the
Nope,
longtime
Lucky
favorite
Charms.
for Evan. Lucky Charms weren't on the list there.
Yeah, neither
Sarah?
was Frosted Mini
You guys
Wheats.
can't just add. That's not how this works.
Neither was Raisin Bran Crunch.
You can't just
Neither
pick
was
your own.
Honey Bunch of
You rank from the one I give you. Start your own game. Someday we'll have a cereal draft. Like we used to have the
Yeah.
Marvel draft. We'll have a cereal draft.
Do we want to just go into the news?
Let's do it. Okay.
Because I
something else?
just had other random questions that I thought were interesting.
Okay. Let's do it. I don't know.
Let me ask you this: based on the sermon this last week, Ben kind of dipped in and through a conversation related to atheism. Remember, he talked about the people passing out
Yeah,
tracts
yeah.
and the atheists passing out whatever their version of tracts would be. I'd be
It's
really curious to
interesting
see
to me.
what.
I don't. It's weird.
Have you ever made many conversations with atheists?
Not like in depth. Like
What would be your
not like
number
argumentative
one?
or.
What would be like your number one talking point with an atheist?
It's hard because I feel like that's strange that an atheist would be passing out tracts or like evangelizing. Like, what are you trying to pull people toward? Nothing. You know, like it's kind of a strange concept for me to even. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it, but I don't know. I'm not an argumentative guy, so. You know, someone who's an atheist and maybe has a whole bunch of like scientific knowledge and background, and they could throw all this stuff at me, and I would. Okay, I can't argue on that level. I'm not, and I don't care. I don't think it's my place. But for me, this is why I think the power of our own testimony is. Well, it's powerful because it's just life change to me. before Jesus and after. Like I don't.
So your strongest conversational talking point with somebody who is an atheist or doesn't believe in God is sharing your story.
I guess, or something like that. I'm not going to come out and just start sharing my story either, unless it's part of the naturally part of the conversation. But I think just life in general, like it's just weird to say. I don't think a debate solves anything. I don't think for most atheists, first of all, I will say, I don't know if this is fair, but in my thought is most people that say they're atheists aren't really atheists. They're more agnostic. They're more,
Sure.
they might think there's a God. They just don't think that Jesus was it, or they're just burned by church or by Christians or religious folks in general. And
I've converted a few
Like-
atheists to agnosticism.
but see that some might say, I just can't see that God exists because I'm into astrophysics, and this is what I can observe, and this is what I say, and you guys say this, and it's like, well, that's where it's awesome to have people around church that are way smarter than me and that are scientists and that can dive into those conversations, because I don't get any of it. But that was a challenge for me. I think I've shared before. My last class I had in college was science and faith. I went to Cal Baptist University. The last class I took, and the guy was an astrophysicist, and he also sang in his choir at church. And his thing was he was an old earth guy, and at a Southern Baptist school, there's a lot of people who would think that was young earth, or your whole theology is faulty, or whatever. It's like, so that was challenging. He's like, well, look, I'm a physicist, and this is what I observe, and this is what we see in everyday life in the science realm. But that didn't poke any holes in his faith at all. Like, he knew who Jesus was. He followed Jesus. That was the biggest part of his life. But he could have those conversations with someone who is more of a science-minded person. So I just think, how did I automatically know the sunset was beautiful? Like, how did I know, like, the mountains, snow-capped mountains where I grew up was beautiful when I was a kid? To me, it's because the same one that created those things created me. So I'm not even like a big nature guy, but you know what I mean? But it's like, it just seems like natural to
attest
look
to that.
around. Like, I don't want to go camping in the woods for a week and a half. Like, whatever. But it just seems like to just outright deny that there's anything bigger than us, or to say I'm an atheist because I don't believe, there's no God. Well, just my experience generally, and I'm not trying to put anyone down by any means, but generally those people that I know, or those conversations I've had, have been people who were had some really tough things in life, and they're angry at God, or they've been around a bunch of jerks, like maybe their family was fundamentalist, or like jerk Christians, or religious of any religion.
Right.
People, that were horrible, and so they're just kind of angry, and so then therefore God doesn't exist. But
Which is
don't know.
funny. Like, I was listening, there was a Erwin McManus clip. He was talking about people who can't believe in a God that allows so much suffering and all this kind of stuff. He goes, okay, so you take away God, you don't believe in all that stuff. There's
I
still
think so.
suffering.
There's still suffering.
Where is the source of that? Who's
Yeah.
responsible for that?
It's man.
Yeah.
It's sin. Like, right.
What's the, I don't believe in mankind. What's the term for that? Atheism, I don't believe there's God. Is there a
I
term
don't believe
for
in man.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's okay. Say God doesn't exist. There's still suffering. There's still horrible things that happen. That's where I think it primarily it's people that have had a hard thing happen and they're angry.
Right.
And I get it. Like life sucks, man. It can often.
So do
like
I.
bad things happen.
And so do I.
Doesn't mean that I don't think Andy's a fantasy football god.
I'm not.
Clearly.
Anyways,
I don't know. What
just
about
thought
you?
I'd bring
You've
that up.
converted some atheists to agnostics. What do
Yeah,
you-
but wait. Basically, what I do is I draw a circle, and I say,
Oh, you got tactics.
Inside this circle
Yeah.
represents all of the knowledge in the universe, known by humankind and unknown. Right? So it's everything that exists
Yeah.
outside of our understanding and inside of our understanding. And then I ask, out of all that knowledge, how much I want you to take a pen and mark how much you possess personally. And it's usually there's actually to express a decent amount of humility in that moment. They're like,
Yeah.
well, it's tiny. I can't even make one big enough. Okay, so then you shade off the rest of that area and say you admittedly know that you don't know what happens in this other space. So
Yeah.
that's an admission that you can't say for sure there is or isn't a God.
Yeah.
And that's why they said, well, I guess I'm agnostic.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's kind of a cop out. It's not a cop out. That's not the right word. But it's basically acknowledging that, like, oh, I don't know.
Right. And that's all
But
all
I'm not willing
asking.
to say that there is a God.
But that's all
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at
Yeah.
with that conversation is just
Yeah,
to
it's
admit
like-
that, okay,
You
fair
don't know
enough.
everything.
Because I used to,
It's like Ben's talking about the GPS with the sailboat and the fog.
Right.
It's like, well, now a GPS is satellites that's outside of my realm of view and can see,
Right.
Yeah.
I grew up, they'd community television, local community
Yeah.
TV, and they would have these old ladies that were atheists, and they would sit and talk, and it's just there was such a hubris about it
Yeah.
that we know that there isn't a God, and it's like, do you?
You don't.
You don't. That's
Yeah.
actually expressing faith in a different way, that you are living faith that's based on that there isn't a God, and so anyway, I just thought it was.
Yeah, it's what's funny is like hearing been referenced some like modern atheism stuff, but a lot of that big movement like late 90s, early 2000s, but you start hearing a lot. It just seems like outright atheism is not a predominant voice in culture right now.
No, but I think what
It's
happens
more
is
of like I don't believe.
I think
in,
social media, like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, you get all these little short clips of people like Sam Harris. They throw something out there, or even longer
Yeah.
discussions between like Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris, where it's almost like you like a certain person and you like the way they think and the way they talk, and so you sort of adopt kind of in the way that Christians do the same thing with preachers.
Mhm.
They like the way they talk. They
Yeah,
like the things that they
yeah.
have to say. They don't really have personal ownership of anything. They might say, "Oh, I am a Erwin McManus disciple," or "I'm a Sam Harris disciple," even in the non-Christian context. But how grounded are those convictions? I don't think, even on the Christian side, you're connected to biblical truths that have some grounding and some rooting, but at the same time, I think they're as whimsical as somebody saying, "Oh, I heard Sam Harris preach or speak, and now I'm an atheist." You know what I mean?
Mhm. I just think I don't know. I hear a lot more. It seems like even though people aren't, Christian or even, I guess some would say religious, there seems to be an openness to, maybe there is something bigger than me, or maybe there is, to just outright say that there's nothing. I just don't hear that as often.
Right.
Maybe I'm just not listening in the right areas, but other than like Ricky Gervais, as far as like but I know part of that I think is also he's kind of a troll, like at the highest level,
Right.
and I think he's funny. I love when he's slamming other celebrities. That's the funniest thing. But he will come out and say stuff about atheism or whatever.
Yeah, his last stand-up on Netflix, he went into God
Yeah.
and
That's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
But it's
Anyway.
fine.
Should get going. Let's rattle off some quick
Yeah.
news. There's a Missions on the Move supper this Saturday from 6 to 8. Get some food. Here's some testimonies. There's a guest that's going to be there sharing. Missionary that will be there. It's probably helpful if you do RSVP. We have
Yeah.
Meet the Pastors on Sunday following the 10:30 service. Get to have a time where you get some free food and hear from Pastor Ben and some other people about kind of more. If you're newer to Northridge and you want to hear more about the church and maybe even meet some new people.
Yeah.
Do need RSVP for that because we need to know how many people are
By
coming.
today,
By today.
Thursday.
Yep. Men's breakfast on the October 14th.
That's next Saturday.
That's the first men's breakfast of the season. 7:30 to 9?
yeah.
Yep. Same day, child care night and marriage adventures. We've been talking about this for a few weeks. Don't need to go into detail. Other than sign up. If you're planning on going, just sign up now because it's really helpful to know the numbers.
Yeah, for food and everything.
Food
Prep.
and the kids because they also need to know how much to prepare for, how many other helpers to have for that. There is a middle school retreat coming up at the end of October, high school retreat beginning of November. Do need to sign up, and there's a cost for those things. So talk to your students and make
Those sound
sure
fun.
you know what's going on. Trunk or treat October 31st here in the parking lot. Actually, it's going to be on that side on the new parking lot this year, right?
Is it? I don't know. I thought Courtney said she was going to keep it on this.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Operation Christmas Child. That's going to be over there.
Yeah, that's going to be over there.
So, I don't know. Who knows where
I
it's
think
going
it
to be.
worked better over here.
Does it
even
work
though it's a
better?
little smaller, but it's kind of more in the neighborhood.
Keeps
walking,
people.
like
I think
people walk
what's cool about
through.
the smaller parking lot is it keeps people closer together. And
Yeah.
kind of creates more energy.
Yeah.
And then we have Operation Christmas Child kickoff October 15th. We're going to, during the service, we're going to kick things off for that. And that'll be the beginning of people being able to pack boxes and bring them back. And in November, we'll have a dedication of those boxes. Also, in between, we have a packing party for the youth, November 1st, and then a packing party for the kids on November 8th through the 12th. That's for the kids, it's going to be on a Wednesday and a Sunday morning. With the youth, it's going to be on a Wednesday night. There's stuff to pack and bring. Along with Operation Christmas Child this year, we're going to be doing collection for women's hygiene as well. So be on the lookout for the details on how to pack that stuff because it is somewhat separate from Operation Christmas Child, but we're going to be adding that on there as well. Then we have the comedy night. It's not on the, I don't know why it's not on the events thing, but comedy night, November 4th. It's a Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And we've got some guys coming in, do some comedy sports, which is an interactive experience. It's funny. They're not depressed, like Ben mentioned. A lot of comedians
Depressed and cynical.
depressed and cynical.
Which I would argue is what makes most comedians funny.
These guys don't need that, and they are still funny.
Yeah.
It is absolutely 100% free for
Yeah.
you and however many guests you want to bring.
Hey, bring
so
'em.
start inviting them now, November 4th at 7 o'clock. Mike and Nate, you can go on to their Facebook or to their website and see some clips just to see what their comedy style is. It's obviously clean, and it's fun for the whole family.
Well, that'd be funny if they changed up their whole thing and they
Whoops.
just vulgar, just vulgar,
Yeah.
like R-rated comedy night for the family.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it wouldn't be
It wouldn't
funny.
be that. It wouldn't be that. Yeah. It's going to be great. So,
Then you'd have to wear a "I suck at comedy nights."
yes. That would
Event
be I
t-shirt.
will take it down if Mike and Nate come and they
That'd be.
embarrass me.
Why didn't you have some of that pumpkin bread, man?
Yeah, I had lunch already.
Sorry, I
so.
cut you off. Keep going.
That's it. If you have any questions, we're going to be doing week 2 of our new series that we started called Flourishing. There's a devotional book near the entrances to the worship center. Make sure you grab one of those for your small group. If you're not in a small group, get signed up for one. You can
Yes.
talk to Greg. You can talk to Cal. You can also check out the board here in the atrium in between services, or you can
the
just
app.
go onto the website or the
Website.
app and peruse all the different options, the times, the dates, the study, what they're going to be covering in small group.
You can request to join right there and email the leader, and they'll
I
get back to you
promise
and
you
say,
will
yeah, come
not
on
be
now.
disappointed if you join a small group. It will be one of the most important things that you will do this whole
Yeah.
year. So you should do that.
Agreed.
And then anything else, Greg? I cover it all.
I think you
Normally
covered
you
it.
do the news, but my battery on my
They're good.
computer's dying, and
You
I
do it
wanted
much
to whip
better.
through it. That's not true. So next week we have a guest, the president of our overseer
President?
is the chair. Sorry, the chair of our overseer.
That sounds so serious.
Well, at the Lutheran Church, it used to be the president
I'm
of
going
the
to start
council.
calling him El Presidente.
You could do that next week. The chair of our
Do I
overseer
get to be here
team-
with the president?
Yeah, you
Do I
get to
need
be
to
here
go through a
'cause
background check?
It's gonna be
or-
at 1 o'clock.
So we can secret.
Mike,
We should have Mike wear a suit with a little earpiece back here.
Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mike can make it. It's later, but 1 o'clock. The chair of our overseer team, Scott Whitman, will be here. We're going to grill him with some questions, talk to him.
Hard hitting
Yes,
questions.
hard hitting. I have my top 10 list, but I also have some other questions like, should everybody be able to make AI?
Yeah.
Anyway, why?
Why not?
Okay. We'll talk more about that next week, maybe.
Should I have a blind top 5 on breakfast cereal?
Scott for president.
Top 5 presidents. But I got to I'll give the names.
Blind top 5 presidents?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You should do that.
I should.
for
I'll
Scott.
forget between here and next week, but we'll do something.
All right. Thanks for chiming in. Lucky Charms all the way.
What?
I thought she said Lucky Charms is Saga City.
Oh, it's Paul that says Scott for president.
Yes.
Hey,
Awesome.
Paul. I don't know if he was listening. He missed the conversation about Count Chocula.
And
his,
Liza.
how
Yeah.
his wife used to be Count Chocula.
Yeah, there you go. You should ask her about that. Hope you're having a good week. Hopefully we see you this weekend, whether
Hopefully.
you come in the building or you're online. If you're online only, make sure you say hi
Yeah.
and interact a little
Do a
bit.
little check-in
I know a lot of
link
you are
thing and-
watching on your smart TVs, maybe on YouTube, but jump on your phone or something. I don't know. Say hi.
Yeah.
Let us know. And it'd be awesome. So say goodbye, Greg.
Goodbye, Greg.